Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here today. After these speeches that we just heard and the videos, I'm energized. How about you? Vincie, you know as I do that Fresno State succeeds because of partnerships with our friends and alumni across the region. And your leadership of our Fresno State Foundation is important and appreciated. And Demi, thank you for your thoughtful leadership of the associated students. I am grateful for your commitment to service and engagement. You keep us focused on the mission of boldly educating and empowering students for success, and it is a pleasure to work alongside you in support of our students. And Terry, such an incredible year for our Bulldogs. Woo! And it's not just on the field. Our student athletes succeed in the classroom and the community. And stories like Marcus's are really profound. A local kid, Dinuba, who's done well returning home to our valley as a champion. So thank you for sharing that story, Terry, and thank you for your leadership. Fresno State is making a difference, so much so that the nation is taking stock. Washington Monthly ranked Fresno State in the top 30 for each of the last 3 years based on social mobility, research, and public service. And those are three categories that really matter a lot to Fresno State and to our nation. And then Money Magazine added education quality and value when it ranked Fresno State in its top 50 best public colleges. And I like these rankings because, not just because we did well, but because they have substance. They aren't based on reputation surveys or application rejections or even on the size of our budget. And Fresno State has never and will never define success by who we turn away. Rather, our success is measured in lives, families, and communities forever changed. And we celebrate every degree earned and every point scored, especially in the snow and overtime, because that is who we are as a community. Academics and athletics are rising together because of the tremendous talent of our students, our faculty, our coaches, our deans, and they're continuously supported by a dedicated staff and administration. And of course, one last critical ingredient, a Central Valley community that stands with Fresno State. In fact, Mayor Lee Brand, would you please stand? Thank you, Mayor. Would all our elected officials and their staff please stand and be recognized? Would CSU trustee Hugo Morales please stand? Thank you, Hugo. All of you who were standing before, could you stay standing for a minute? Just for a minute. So all my political leaders, education leaders in the room, please stand. Faculty, staff, administrators, including my cabinet, from Fresno State, from all of our partner schools and colleges, would you please stand? Thank you. Next, will all the Fresno State alumni in the house please stand? What an impressive group. Okay, finally, would everybody stand? Every single friend and champion of Fresno State. Everyone who made the commitment to be here today. to stand with Fresno State in the coming year. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. This, all of you, is not the secret, not so secret recipe to our success. Great people in a great community committed to great things. And I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge someone who loves Fresno State and the Central Valley as deeply as I do, someone who gives unwavering support as my teammate in all things, my wife, Mary Castro. She rushed Jess to school and made it here just in time. All of us share a sense of what Fresno State is and what it represents for the Central Valley and for our shared future. We are in this together. Yet, that does not mean that we are always of one mind. It's a strength of a healthy community when difficult topics can be raised and discussed. And while it is true that our mission, priorities, goals, and values have been clearly articulated, our 108-year-old university has not expressed until now our guiding principles for how we aspire to work and live as one community. A task force of 23 faculty and staff from across the university led an extensive effort to engage our campus community in developing 4 guiding principles of community. And they are: we are respectful, we are kind, we are collaborative, and we are accountable. For each principle, as you can see on the university's website, we specify the qualities and the actions that we agree to strive for every day in our interactions with fellow colleagues and with our students. These principles reflect our core values of discovery, diversity, and distinction, as well as our deep commitment to our mission to boldly educate and empower students for success. These principles exemplify who we are and what we aspire to be. And now we start the journey of embodying those principles in every minute of our daily work. And I welcome you and our entire Central Valley community to join us in this important journey. There is no better time for the university and the community to be working together as one. A united effort to be respectful, kind, collaborative, and accountable will further boost our region in ways that are yet imagined. To excel as a university, Fresno State must also be open to new innovations, ideas, practices, and tools. And that openness to new strategies is exemplified in the Discovery program, with its centerpiece of software-enabled teaching and learning, supported by a tablet loaner program for students and a very talented Discovery Hub staff. Today we have 12,000 students who have access to mobile devices and are empowered in their learning through technology, in a role that traditionally was filled by textbooks. This changes the game by lowering student costs, making our university more affordable, and giving new avenues for student-faculty engagement and peer-to-peer collaboration. And I appreciate all the leaders involved in Discovery, the faculty and the staff doing the work, and those in the community whose gifts have helped to make this program possible. I've begun today by recognizing shared successes, successes of teams of people or of the community. And we have many shared accomplishments, and our community also celebrates individual accomplishments with pride. I will start by celebrating two of our record-breaking 6,000 graduates last year. Last year's graduate and undergraduate Dean's medalists are Patricio Galindo and Jody Benbrook. Patricio earned his social work bachelor's degree with a 3.85 GPA after distinguished service in the U.S. Marine Corps and as a transfer student from Fresno City College. He has a deep passion for those who serve, creating a resolution and presenting in front of Congress to ensure that fellow veterans receive proper recognition. And at Fresno State, he created the first social work honor society, and he organized care packages for the military during the holidays. Patricio, will you please stand? Check out his 2 medals he's got on, too. Thank you, Patricio. And Jody earned her executive master's in business administration with a 4.0 GPA after earning her associate's in nursing from Fresno City College. And her bachelor's in nursing from Fresno State. She attended classes and she cared for her children while working full-time on the night shift as a labor nurse. She is now the Director of Women's and Children's Respiratory and Rehabilitation Services at Clovis Community Medical Center, making a positive difference in our community. Jody, will you please stand? The tremendous success of our graduates is closely connected to the work of our outstanding faculty, and especially the way that faculty engage students in their work. For example, Dr. Reese is an evolutionary biologist who also works in conservation biology. To augment learning in the classroom, his students learn from practical labs where they frequently travel to conduct research in diverse California environments. Graduate student Shelby Mosher, a Peter G. Mijas trustee scholar, and her fellow classmates traveled to California's Central Coast and Morro Bay to actively participate in this real-world research. Shelby is gearing up for further trips to Morro Bay, where she will conduct research for her master's project. She will explore how dredging affects coastal biodiversity while documenting environmental change, invasive species, and population stability. And she's already submitted a manuscript for a publication. Another faculty student team is working to address the debilitating symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Dr. Leo Nguyen, a Lyles College of Engineering professor, led the development, along with his graduate student, of the tremolo tremor suppression device. The device uses a unique energy absorption technology to assist patients with day-to-day tasks, improving the quality of their life. And with capital investments provided by the Fresno State Foundation, the tremolo device is scheduled to hit the market in 2019, and partial proceeds will benefit Fresno State. These are just 2 remarkable Fresno State faculty leaders and ambassadors of our Central Valley. They are modeling how to meaningfully engage our students to better prepare them for success after graduation. And I'm pleased to report that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of cases of excellence that are spread all across the campus. Each case is unique in its specifics, but it shares a common and purposeful spirit. And recently, an emeritus faculty member recognized Fresno State for its commitment to serving the underserved in so many compelling ways. You're going to love this story. Dr. Robert Pearsall, he could have easily left his $1.7 million estate to Stanford, my alma mater, or Harvard, where he went to school, but instead, he quietly watched the achievements of this university, his local university, and he chose the Fresno State Craig School of Business, where he had taught as a professor, to leave that gift. What an inspiring final act of charity and leadership. And like Dr. Pearsall, our staff, faculty, alumni, family, and friends see the work that's being done. And more than that, they become engaged in supporting our rise as a university. And to that point, there is one last person that I want to celebrate individually. Someone who has taken to heart the call to lead, and who is the 2019 President's Medal of Distinction recipient. But before I announce the recipient for 2019, I am pleased that there are other medalists who are here today. Would California Supreme Court Justice Marvin Baxter, former Fresno County Supervisor Phil Larson, and founder and chairman emeritus of Reese Foods, Fred Reese, please stand to be recognized. Thank you for being here. The President's Medal of Distinction, worn proudly by each of these leaders and a few others. Carol Chandler, who was not able to join us, but she also received this medal, is the highest non-degree award presented by our university. It denotes achievements that are worthy of emulation. It is worn by individuals who inspire discovery, individuals who foster diversity, individuals who live a life of distinction. Recipients, past and present, have woven their story of excellence into the Fresno State story. They have strengthened our community. And that is why John Horsemen has earned the right to wear this medal, and why I now ask that he join me on stage. John, your professional achievements in the finance and insurance industry, alongside your continuing service to the Central Valley, exemplify leadership. And at Fresno State, we are grateful for your many contributions to student success and engagement, including gifts to the President's Circle for Excellence, multiple colleges, and too many programs to mention right now. And you and your family have made the holidays a bit brighter for our students by donating turkeys to the Fresno State Student Cupboard to help our students facing food insecurity at Thanksgiving. And I know that's your nature. You find ways to connect people and open doors in the community. And of course, you give of your time in leadership and service to the foundation and the university. Did I miss anything? I think we have a special guest coming over here to say hello. Victor E. Bulldog's on his way. The reason why Victor E. is here, John is affectionately known as the Dog Father for his generous support of the Fresno State Alumni Association and our mascot, Victor E. Bulldog. Please stand and join me again in honoring John Horsemen for the 2019 President's Medal of Distinction.
This certainly comes as a surprise, as I was sitting back there wondering who this person was going to be this year. It is an honor, a privilege for me to be here to represent Fresno State and all the alumni that are here and students. Living 2 blocks from Fresno State when I entered Fresno State, $30 tuition fee, it was an experience that I've always enjoyed and been part of. There's so much for all of us to be grateful for, and what we mean to Fresno State and what we mean to our community. Thank you very much.
Let me give you your medal. Thank you, Victory. Really nice that John had his family here today, too. At Fresno State, we rise to the challenge. We rise because of champions like John. We rise because each generation leaves a better university for those who follow. This progress is sometimes hard to see. When I came back home in 2013 with Mary, the Great Recession had just ended. And it was in the aftermath, when the worst of the budget storms with the state had passed, that Fresno State adopted the call to be bold. And that was less than 6 years ago. And I'd say we are bold. Student applications, enrollments, and graduation rates have increased dramatically. We have hired many new, talented, and diverse faculty and staff, bringing new energy to complement the energy that was already here. And in fact, between 2013 and 2018, we hired more tenure-track professors than all but one other much larger CSU campus. Time to graduation is improving steadily. The yearly number of graduates is growing rapidly, filling the Save Mart Center at graduation time. Achievement gaps from our students from historically underserved communities within our unique population are narrowing. It's actually almost 1%. Fundraising has risen thanks to your generosity. Your dollars have gone to compelling projects to support education, innovation, research, and community engagement, to support our student academics and student athletics, to modernize our buildings and our classrooms, our overall infrastructure. Last year alone, we saw a 22% increase in fundraising overall. And giving in support of our academic mission grew at an even faster rate, an increase of 35%. It can be easy to think that most of our hard work is done, that now is the time to pass the baton, especially since the governor's budget proposal includes what could be the single largest increase in public support in CSU history. While that is excellent news that we are celebrating, indeed, we must remain vigilant. We've seen good years become tough years, and we must continue to make the case that Fresno State is not a handout for public funds. We are the driver of the economic activity that creates public wealth in the first place. Talent exists in every household. Our shared challenge is to unleash this talent and prepare a new generation of leaders for our region and beyond. Yet, we still do not let in enough talented students at Fresno State. We were forced to turn away 5,500 qualified applicants last year just because of financial limitations. The governor's proposal says that the CSU needs to grow enrollment by 2%. But that still leaves too many of our talented students outside looking in. So we are asking for 5% growth. If students are eligible, ready, and able to do the work, then we believe they should have a seat at Fresno State. And I need your help in making that case, especially if you're talking to a legislator who doesn't typically deal with education. I ask you to highlight the work that Fresno State and our alumni do in agriculture, water, engineering, healthcare, technology, business, education, the arts, and numerous other areas across the Central Valley. And in the event that the state puts forward a bond measure for higher education in 2020, we need to be very clear about our facility needs. With the types of laboratories and classrooms and other spaces it takes to prepare our students for today's and tomorrow's industries, for our valley's industries and state's industries. And this again comes from a position of strength, a position where we know the good that we are doing together, the impact that we are having, and the progress that we are making. So I'm going to give you really quickly 4 numbers that I'm going to ask you to remember. 90% of Fresno State students come from the Central Valley, and over half from this county alone. That's the first number. Nearly 70% are the first generation in their families to attend college, which means many of the 30% are legacy Bulldogs. Nearly 6,000 students earn their degree from Fresno State each year, and that will climb. Of those 6,000, 80% stay right here in this region. So I'm going to repeat it really quickly. 90% from the Central Valley, 70% first generation, 6,000 graduates per year, 80% stay to live, work, and contribute and lead the Central Valley's future. That's bold. We are succeeding in our public mission, and in that success, Fresno State and the Central Valley are inseparable partners. Our futures are interwoven. And I feel that every single day in our shared work and your generous support. CSU Chancellor Tim White, a proud Fresno State alumnus. It's good to have a boss who's an alum of Fresno State, by the way. He has a saying, quote, "Donors fund success. Fundraising is about where their passion meets the university's passion and expertise," unquote. I see your passion, and I promise you that at Fresno State, every ask of support from us sets a brick in the path to greater success. We are always in this together. And as we come to an end of today's program, I would like to recognize a few sponsors. Particularly, I want to thank Fowler Packing, Harris Construction, JD Food Services, full of alumni up here in the front table, Johansson Transportation Service, State Center Community College District, the Fresno Bee, Trinity Fruit Sales, and Wells Fargo for your support. Thank you all very much for being sponsors today. The proceeds from this event will provide scholarships for our hardworking and very talented Fresno State students. And as I look at the list, I am thrilled that different parts of our community are coming together to support each other. This speech was billed to you as a state of the university, so I feel somewhat compelled to use those words to bring this home. The state of California State University, Fresno is undeniably strong. It is strong because of our students, faculty, staff, and administration. It is strong because of outstanding advocates among our alumni and community. It is strong thanks to you, our regional leaders and supporters, and your impactful leadership. The positive feeling that we have today comes from the invigorating breeze created by our universities and our valley's bold ascent. And as the first Central Valley native to serve as your president, it is an extraordinary honor to serve alongside each and every one of you during this exciting chapter of our university's history. I thank you for your continued support. I ask you to enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you all. Thank you for coming today.